I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you are going to want to make this bag and this bag and this bag for sure. You're really going to want to make it. Hi there, I'm Laura, one of the owners and designers here at Rivet Patterns, and today we're going to talk about the Sonata Sling Bag and Backpack pattern, and I have got so much to show you. This bag pattern is so fun. You will love making it, and here it is. It can be either a sling bag, like a crossbody bag, or a backpack, totally up to you. We have options for the straps. I can't be mad at it. I love it. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop making it. This pattern is really great for everything from vinyl to quilting cotton. So I've got vinyl, canvas, and quilting cotton versions right here, and they all look amazing. I love them so much, and I will talk to you about the features of this bag. First, let's talk about the zippers. We have an outer zipper, and it zips just like this, and you have a full pocket here. You could put one on the front, and you could put one on the back. I did not put one on the back of this one, but you can certainly do that. I have in some other photos that I will show you right here. But you have that great zipper pocket that's great for hiding things. It's great, especially if you put it on the back. It lays against your back, and that's a great place, like a protector, kind of protected place to put whatever, your phone or whatever you have. You have a key ring holder here. You also have a slip pocket here for your phone. Like here's iPhone right here, and it fits in there perfectly. The inside is pretty basic. You can do whatever you want with it. You can put the key ring thing in here. You can put a patch pocket in here. You could put the zipper pocket as well, but instead I just have a nice deep slip pocket here for you for the inside. All right, now let's turn this one around, or right side out again. All right, so now that I had shown you the vinyl version that I made, I want to show you the other versions that I made. Now, let's talk about interfacing real quickly. For this pattern, the interfacing that is called for is fusible fleece and SF101, or things that are comparable to that. But being that it's your bag, you can do whatever you want with it. This was vinyl, so I stuck with exactly what was asked in the pattern, other than I did not interface the waterproof canvas because it's waterproof canvas and you don't interface waterproof canvas. So, but this is exactly as the bag, as the pattern talks of, okay? So you can see here with this one, like I said, we've got this outer patch pocket, we've got our little T-ring, and we've got our zipper pocket. Let's look at the back here. You can see that we've got a removable strap buckle here, and you have two D-rings here at the bottom. And so that means that you can do a sling bag or crossbody bag or a backpack, just like this. Okay, so you can make it a backpack. That's what I love about this pattern. It's so versatile. Okay, so that's one option of straps that you can do. That's what I did with my vinyl. Totally removable straps. All right. For the canvas, we did something a little bit different. We have a separating strap here that is separated by a zipper. So it gives you the ability to have a full strap here across your body, or if you unzip it, you have a backpack. All right. You can see here with my webbing, I've done something a little bit different. These are loose straps here. So you just give them a good pull and you can adjust your webbing from there. This gives you a lot of versatility in sizing. So I can wear this, and also my 8-year-old can adjust it and wear it to fit her as well. So you get a lot of adjustability with this loose strap option. All right. So for this one is a cotton canvas. I put a zipper in the front. I put a patch pocket in the back. The inside, I have the, of course, the slip pocket, the nice deep slip pocket here. But on the other side, I put the key ring on the inside so I can hang my keys on the inside. And that's the great thing about making your own bags, is that you can take all the fun little extras and you could put them where you want. So that is the cotton canvas. And this is the quilting cotton. I love working with canvas and quilted cotton. It's just fun. You get some really great, amazing prints. And this one has chickens on it. And if you know me, you know I love chickens. So on the front, I didn't do anything because I wanted my chickens to be front and center. I wanted everyone to see how cute this fabric is. On the back, I added the patch pocket, all right, in the back. On the inside, you can see I've got my deep slip pocket, which is also super cute. And I have my key ring. I didn't put a zipper pocket in this one at all. you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. But let's talk about the strap. This is a third strap option, and my personal favorite. It's called the standard, okay? It's the standard strap option. It's what I originally came up with before I added the other two strap options, just to give more versatility to the bag. So what you have is you have the same separating main strap here, but this just connects permanently to your strap connectors, and it's not loose, right? We don't always like things to be loose. It's very, very similar to the loose one without having loose pieces of webbing to pull. This is my favorite. I like it. It feels put together. I love the way it looks when it's a backpack. It's super stinking cute. In this tutorial, I'm going to be making the standard straps. All right. I do have videos to show you how to make the other strap options, so I will link them in the description box below so that you can make any version of this bag that you like. Are you ready to get started making your own Sonata Sling Bag and Backpack? Me too. Let's do it. So the first thing we're going to walk through are all of the pattern pieces, and there are quite a few, and we just want to be clear with what they all are, how many we need, and the interfacing that goes with. For this pattern, you need an outer and you need the lining fabric. Now, I'm using a vinyl outer for this particular one, but you can use cotton, you can use canvas, it's up to you. Really find what you like to use. I thought this was pretty, so I would jump in with vinyl. I have made one here. This here is cotton canvas with quilting cotton lining and accents here. So it works just fine. I use the exact same interfacings as I'm doing today. So obviously, vinyl is a little bit thicker. It's a little bit heavier. It's going to have a different kind of structure than your cotton fabrics. Canvas is going to have more structure than quilting cotton, right? So you need to take that into consideration. You can do a canvas one with the same fusible fleece that the pattern calls for, and you're fine. I like it in a canvas. I like the way it's squishy. If you want it to have more firmness and you want it to be more structured, then you can change that and experiment with that, and you can use something like flex foam or something like that to make it give it a little more oomph. So let's talk about the pattern pieces. We'll start in the middle. So we have a gusset piece, we have an outer, and we have a lining. We need one of each. They're both interfaced. The lining is interfaced with SF101 or something similar. The outer is interfaced with fusible fleece. All right, so that's the gusset. Next, we have the main zipper panels. This is for the outside of the bag. It's for the opening of the bag. You have two outers and two linings. Both the outer and the lining are interfaced with SF101. Now, you're going to ask, why would I not put fusible fleece on this? I'm trying to reduce the bulk, okay? You want to use fusible fleece. If you're using cotton and you'd like to use fusible fleece on this piece, fine, but it is small. So take that in consideration when you're working with your particular fabrics, what works best for you. I was trying to reduce the bulk a little bit while still giving structure, and so that's what I did with the main zipper panels. Next, we have the strap zipper panels, which are very similar. The thing to remember that's most important here is these are mirrored. Nothing else is mirrored. So you need them they'll look like this when they're complete, okay? So the straight side will face one another. So when you cut them, they need to be mirrored. Either fold your fabric wrong sides together and cut two at a time, or cut one, flip it over, and cut another. All right, these are, again, all interfaced with SF101. That is, again, to reduce bulk. But that's the that's the strap zipper panel. Next, we have the strap tab. Okay, we have two of these, both in whatever outer you're using. You can use lining if you want. That's totally up to you. Run out of fabric, grab some lining. You could have one in the outer and one in the main. This needs to have structure. This is going to hold the handle. It's going to hold our strap in place. So here's an example here, one of the first ones I made. So it's going to hold the weight of your bag, okay? It's going to hold the weight. So you don't want it to be like the thinnest fabric you've ever used, and you need it interfaced. These are both interfaced with SF101, okay? Next, we have a slip pocket. We need one outer and one lining, or you can do two linings, or you can do two outers. It's up to you, or some sort of accent fabric. I think on the pattern piece it says two linings, but I decided to do an outer and a lining just because why not? All right, and they're both interfaced with SF101. Next, we have the patch pocket, exactly the same as the slip pocket. I think it says two outers, or it says two linings. I can't remember which. I don't have it right on me. But I did an outer and a lining. It's up to you. And they are both interfaced with SF101. All right. Next, we have our key ring overlay. I'm hanging on to this pattern piece because I need to transfer some markings here. And I don't want to lose this piece. It's a almost square, and that's just lining. Last but not least, we have the main panels. I saved these for last on purpose, okay? We have several of them. We have an outer that's interfaced with fusible fleece, and there are two of them, okay? We have a lining. We have two linings, actually, both interfaced with SF101. So these are your main. Now we have pocket linings. They're the same as the regular linings, but we have two sets. So two sets of two pocket linings, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2. The zipper pocket linings are not interfaced. That just reduces the bulk for as we're sewing. And so these are not interfaced. Can you interface them? Sure. But I'm not interfacing them because it becomes a lot of layers. All right. So you want to be careful of that. So what these are for the zipper pocket. If you're doing a zipper pocket on the outer front, just like this one, okay, you need two of these zipper linings. So if I want one on the front, two zipper linings. If I flip my bag over, you could see that there's an option to put one on the back. Okay, I love these. These are great. If you're putting it on the back, you will need two more. If you're only putting one on the front, then you don't need the extra two. You don't need 4 linings. You only need 2. If you're not putting a zipper pocket at all, you don't need any pocket linings. You need 0. You need an outer, and you need a lining for front and back, and those need to be interfaced. That's it. But why would you not put a zipper in? It's awesome. So here's my zipper linings for the front, and here are my zipper linings for the back. So whatever pieces have fusible fleece, let me grab these. There are 2 of them that have fusible fleece. You have the outer main panels, and you have the gusset. These are the 3 pieces that have fusible fleece. On the pattern pieces, on those 2 pattern pieces, let me show this to you. Here's what you will see. You have all kinds of placement markings and notes and strap connector markings and everything. What is important is right up here. It says for fusible fleece, cut on the red dash line. Of course, I printed in black and white, but you can obviously see there is a dashed line here. Okay, this is a 1/2 inch in from the sides, and it is to reduce bulk in the seams. Now, if you have an amazing industrial sewing machine and you can just zip through anything and everything, go for it. Only you know your sewing machine. Okay, I highly suggest that you cut the fusible fleece a 1/2 inch smaller on this piece as well as on the gusset piece. All right, so those markings are there for a reason. You can eyeball the 1/2 inch, that's fine. You just try to take some of that bulk out of the seam allowance. But I do want to talk about something else in terms of that, because what that does is that leaves your seam allowance completely naked, and I'm not sure we always want that. Let's see what we've got here. Let's talk a little bit about vinyl. If you cut your interfacing a 1/2 inch smaller and your vinyl has any kind of stretch to it, you may come to some problems as you're sewing. Let me show you. This right here is vinyl. It is a vinyl that looks like cork. It's lovely. I love it so much. It's so soft. It has a nice kind of drape to it. Beautiful. So it looks like cork without being cork, okay? It's vinyl. But the problem is when I pull on it this direction, I don't have a lot of stretch. You can see it wants to bend a little bit. There is some stretch there. If I pull it this direction, look at all that stretch. Can you see that? Tons of stretch. So the problem comes when I start sewing seams. This begins to stretch and things stop fitting the way they should.
So if you have a vinyl that has a stretch to it, like this one, right? You are going to want to interface that. So make sure that seam allowance is interfaced. Here is that same vinyl. And you can see I interfaced with SF101. It gives no stretch at all. That's what you want. So that's all of our fabric and pieces, all of our supplies there. Let's talk about our extra supplies and hardware. If you're making all of the options, okay, you need a main zipper. Everybody needs a main zipper, okay? And you need a strap zipper. This is a 16-inch. This is a 12-inch. If you're doing one pocket on the outside or the inside, you need a 10-inch zipper. If you're doing two pockets, you need two 10-inch zippers. That's it. So 4 total zippers if you're making all the options. Next, you're going to need to finish this with binding on the inside. Now, this is 1/2-inch double fold bias tape. I have a tutorial if you want to make your own. This is store-bought, no big deal. You use what you want to use. Next, we are going to need some webbing. Now, you can make this with fabric. You can make these straps with fabric. I have a tutorial for that as well that I will link so that you could see that if you like. But I love using webbing because it's fast and easy. And there's so many things, then there are so many colors and patterns to choose from now. But you're going to need 3 short ones. These are 3-inch ones. This is 1.5-inch webbing, right? So that's 3 of those. And then you're going to need 2 25-inch. For this bag, we need 2 D-rings. I'm using these lovely little triangles. 3 swivel hooks and 2 adjustable sliders, okay? Or tri-sliders or adjustable buckles, whatever you call them. All right, so we need 2 of these are for the strap. 1 is for the key ring. Both of these are for the straps. Both of these are for the strap connectors. First thing on the list is the strap connector. You can see I have 2 D-rings here. These are not D-rings, but whatever you have. I love these. I think they're beautiful. And I like them better than D-rings. So anyway, and we have 3 strap connectors. You're only going to need 2 strap connectors for what we're about to do now. The next strap connector, the remaining one, will be for our key ring. So I'm going to set that to the side. You can make these strap connectors with fabric. I will link to the video as to how to do that. You also have pattern pieces for that, and the instructions are in the tutorial. But today, I'm not going to use that. I'm just using webbing. So let me get my pins and clips out, and we can get started. All right, so I'm going to take my D-ring or my triangle ring here and my strap, and I'm going to feed that through just like this, and I'm going to match those raw edges and give it I'm going to do the same with the other. Match the raw edges and give it a clip. Next, I'm going to head to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch as close to this flat bar as I can without hitting it with my needle and destroying my sewing machine. So I'm going to get as close as I can to that, back stitching for extra support. Okay, these are nice and secure. I'm going to set them to the side, and we're going to move on to going to start our shoulder strap. And on that page, you will see that there's the finished circumference for the entire bag. So when the strap is added and everything, we have the minimum and the maximum. So if you're wanting to change that, if whoever you're making it for is smaller and you need it to be smaller or bigger, you need to check out the blog post about our Harmony bag where we did the same thing, and it shows you how to adjust those webbing. And also, all right, for the next step, we are going to need our shoulder straps, our webbing there, and we are going to need 2 swivel clips and 2 adjustable buckles or tri-slides, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so we need both of those. So we're going to start with 1 strap and 1 set of each of these. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our adjustable buckle or our tri-slide, and we're going to slip one raw end up and then back down, just like that. We're going to fold it in about 1 inch, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Let me push this up a little bit because you want it to be tight in there. And then we're going to fold it over again, just like this. You're going to go to your sewing machine, or you're going to use rivets, whatever your best method is, and you're going to stitch across here or put a couple of rivets here. All right, let's do that. I've repeated that on the other strap as well. We are ready to move on to the next step. The next step is to place your swivel clip through the raw edge. Bring this up through one side of the buckle or tri-slide and down the other side. And there we have it. We're all done. So we're going to do the same thing. Up one side and down the other. And there we go. And we are ready to move on to the next step. All right, we're going to continue on with our strap. So let's grab our 12-inch zipper. Now we need our strap zipper panels. Here we are. We should have 4 of them. 2 in lining. Whoopsies. 2 in lining and 2 in our outer. Here we go. This is what we've got. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work with our zipper. One of the important things is the close of our zipper. So the direction that our zipper closes, the closing has to be at the bottom because you're going to open it up to spread the straps to wear as a backpack, right? So you can't do it like this. Otherwise, it'll open from the top and it'll stay closed at the bottom. That's not what we want. So we want the opening at the bottom. And so that's what we're dealing with here. So I'm going to put the opening up at the top just now, just so it's easier for us to see. If we're going to need pins or clips, we are going to undo this a few inches, okay? Then we're just going to take the end of one and we're just going to fold it like this. So kind of like a right angle. And you can see that the zipper tape itself, the fabric actually folds pretty easily, and you're going to give that a little pin. You can clip it as well. You can use wonder tape as well. Pins tend to work best for me. So now on the other side, you want to do the same thing, but you want it to end at the same spot. So you're just going to grab it, and you're going to turn it. And you just want to make sure that they're the same, and they are. So I'm going to give that a little pin. Now I'm going to head to my sewing machine, and you could do this by hand as well. Not a big deal. What you want to do is make sure that it goes to the back. That's what I want. You want it to fold to the inside. So I'm going to head to my sewing machine, and you can, of course, do this by hand. And I'm just going to give a couple stitches here just to keep that in place. All right, let's do it. Okay, here we are. All right, so you want to get about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, the best you can, okay? No big deal if it isn't perfect. So I'm going to turn this back around this way. So this is the way it will go, right? So you'll close it here and you'll open it there, okay? That's what we want. Next, I'm going to take all of my strap zipper panels, and I'm going to turn the wrong side up. I'm going to grab my double-sided tape. Additionally, you can press this up. I like double-sided tape. It just makes my life so much easier. So I'm going to place double-sided tape at the bottom edge of each of these. Okay, and my double-sided tape is 1/4 of an inch, so it just makes it that much easier because I'm going to fold this up 1/4 of an inch. Okay, push that on there. We're going to remove the paper. Okay, and we're going to fold this edge up 1/4 of an inch. Now, this is adjustable. You'll be able to adjust this again if you need to. If something gets a little wonky, it's no big deal. But for now, you're going for exact lengths here, 1/4 of an inch up. Here we are. Perfect. Let's move on to the next step. All right, the next step is we're going to take our zipper, and we're going to go line by line through the tutorial, okay? So it says place one lining right side up, okay? We're going to be placing our zipper on this. we're going to place our zipper right side up. But remember, this is the bottom. So it has to go like this. This is the bottom. So we're going to line this up with the short end and the long ends and give it a couple of clips. Okay, so that's the wrong side of the zipper tape to the right side of the lining. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to take the outer and we're going to sandwich that. Okay, so that's right sides together with the zipper. Your goal here is when you come to the end, you want these to line up as perfectly as possible. And if they don't, you're going to adjust. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to clip that here, just like this, all right? Now I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to use my zipper foot, which gives us about 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch is the goal. We want 1/4 inch. And I'm going to stitch all the way down past the end of the zipper and all the way to the very, very end, making sure to stick really close to that 1/4 inch seam allowance. Down here, you can even go a little like, you can gradually go to a scant 1/4 inch, which is just a tiny, tiny bit, because your strap will be going in here. I'll show you what I mean. We'll be pushing your strap up through that, and we want to make sure we have seam allowance on both sides to fit that through. All right, so 1/4 inch seam allowance, let's do it. So if this gets off at all, like it is stretched a little bit or something in the sewing, you're just going to lift that lining and you're going to line it up with that. You just want them to be the same. Okay, so here we have this. I'm going to zip the zipper back up, and I'm going to open this panel, and I'm going to clip it together. We're not doing anything with it just yet, so I'm just going to put some clips around it to keep it out of my way because I have to work on the next piece. It's looking beautiful already, though. Normally, on other bags, you'd be top stitching at this point. I don't want to top stitch just yet. Just want to get it out of the way. Okay, it's time to do what we just did on the other side. So we got to have our lining right side up, our zipper right side up, our lining right side up, our zipper right side up, which means your linings are together, and your linings are right side together is what I should have said, and I'm going to clip a couple here. Okay, and then I'm going to place my outer right side down. So it's right sides together with the other outer and with the zipper. And then again, we're going to go to our sewing machine using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to stitch all the way down. Now, here's something to think about. When you're stitching this together and you're coming to the end of this zipper, obviously you're going to move the zipper pull out of the way. But take your time. You don't want to break any needles. You may need to use your hand wheel, and that's totally okay. But let's get it done. Hey, I forgot to record that step. Sorry. All right, so now I'm going to keep this one open. We're going to move on to the next step. I'm going to grab my Wonder Tape again. You can press this part. You can press and clip or whatever. But I'm telling you, this Wonder Tape is going to be life-changing. It makes it so much easier. So I'm going to place Wonder Tape or double-sided like quilting tape all down this curve, all the way down. Because what are we going to do? Yeah, you guessed it. We're going to fold it up 1/4 inch. Now we want to make sure, let me trim up this. I'm going to trim up the Now we're just going to turn this toward the wrong side 1/4 inch. your goal is to make sure that everything lines up. So when I fold this back on top here, so you got to fold that seam allowance. I want it to line up. And let's see, take this clip off so we can check that. Yeah, it's going to line up perfectly. So. Okay, so we're going to go all the way down. Remember, 1/4 of an inch. And you could check it as you go. It's a little bit harder to keep the vinyl down, but clip as you need to, just to make it stick. You want it to do what it's told. It's a lot harder on the curves, like it really wants to come back up. I'm going to bring the lining that I just did this to, and I'm going to bring it to meet the fold. So the folds are meeting, and so it gives a finished edge. And you're just going to clip. If they're not meeting up properly, then adjust either the lining edge or the outer edge. If you're using cotton base, you can use an iron to really get this down smooth. Okay, here we are. We want everything to line up. Thing looks wonderful. Use as many clips as you need to make sure it all stays folded the way you want it to. This looks really great. Now what I'm going to do, all right, so I could have done this before I folded it, but I'm doing it now. So I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to put this right side up. That's what the finish is going to look like. I'm going to take my shoulder strap, and I'm going to open this up a little bit, and I'm going to make sure this fits. I'm going to put it in there about an inch. If you need to move a clip, move a clip. Okay. And you see how it fits perfectly in there. Let me flip it up here. So there it is. You can see it. It fits in there perfectly, which is exactly what you want. And you want, if this is the outer, you want the pretty part of your buckle, of your slider, to be up. Okay, because this is the front. All right, you see that there? Okay. Let's put as many clips as I need. Don't be afraid of clips. All right, so there, we've got that. Now, before I move on to the other side, I'm going to head over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to top stitch like 1/8 of an inch all the way around all 4 sides, even the raw edge here. Okay, continue to push that seam allowance down and making sure to backstitch here so that I can really get a nice hold on my strap. All right, let's do it. Okay, here we are. This is one finished side, and I think it looks beautiful. I love the way it looks. Now we're going to do exactly what we just did on the other side. Okay, now let's top stitch 1/8 of an inch around. Make sure to backstitch here, and here's how it looks. This is such a satisfying part of the tutorial. I just think it looks beautiful. Yeah, I'm super happy with it. The next thing on our list is the strap tab. So we have 2 of those. We're also going to need our shoulder straps. Okay, so we've got these just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our strap tabs, and we're going to place our completed shoulder straps right side together, centered. I like an overhang, a bit of an overhang, 1/4 of an inch or so, maybe less. And I'm going to clip that. Okay, now I'm going to go base that together. All right, now let's take our other strap tab and we're going to put it right sides together. Okay. Now using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, whoopsies, we're going to stitch all the way up, across, and down. Now I'm going to clip the curves and snip the corners there. So you want to clip about 1/8 of an inch in. And now we're going to turn this right side out. You can give the strap a little tug. That should help. You want to push the corners out and those curved edges. Okay, if you're not using vinyl, you're using something cotton, you can press this down as well. And here's a lead shot. Okay, now we're going to head to our sewing machine and we are going to top stitch all the way around here, and then we're going to baste these raw edges together using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Isn't that pretty? Now we're going to trim off the exposed seam allowance here and here. And then we're going to trim up the exposed SF101. I just want to see my outers here. Okay. Now I'm going to go through this curve right here, and I'm going to snip like 1/8 of an inch right up to the seam allowance there, that basting stitch, about every 1/4 inch. Okay, we're moving on to our outer main panels. We need one outer main panel and one of the keyring overlay pieces. What I like to do is I like to mark my pattern pieces now. So I'm going to actually cut out this little rectangle on both this pattern piece and the main pattern piece. You don't have to do it this way. You can do it whatever way you like, but this just helps me to trace properly. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to grab my main pattern piece. And you can see we've got our key ring right here. I'm going to cut that hole out as well. So first, I'm going to grab a writing utensil. Now, I'm going to pick something that will erase easily. Don't just pick your normal, pen. This is a heat erase pen that I got from Wawak. Madam So also has them, but you can see you mark it and it wipes right off of the vinyl, so it's not a huge deal. And even if it didn't, just the slight presence of heat will erase it. So we're going to trace around that opening. Okay, that's where our key ring is going to be. And then we're going to take our overlay, we're going to put it wrong side up, and we're going to trace this one. I'm going to line up this rectangle with that rectangle. So I actually just hold my finger there on that side so I know where to line it up with right there and then right here. Okay. Whoops. And if you move it, fix it. Not a big deal. Now the challenge here is that this is vinyl, so I can't put pins in it. I can put one clip just like that, which is fine. Now I'm going to head over to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch around that rectangle. Now I'm going to cut this open just like I would a zipper pocket. I'm going to cut down the center and then into the corners diagonally. So it's just a little clip here. And you got to be careful with this because it's so small. But it'll be worth it because this is super fun. Do not go through the stitch line, otherwise it's all going to come undone. So you're going to push that overlay through, okay? And then you're going to open it up back here. Now, if you're using all cotton, you're going to press this. This is all pressing, okay? Because I'm using my handy dandy wash away wonder tape to get things where I want them to be. Turn it over and see what we got. All right, that is beautiful. Now, if you see any of your markings, you just want to get rid of those. Okay, I'm super happy with how that looks. All right, we've got our little key ring opening. Very high. Now we need our remaining connector and our swivel clip. Okay, we're going to take our connector and we're going to place this raw edge down into the key ring opening. And we're going to pull it to the wrong side about an inch or so, just like this. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to head to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch along the top edge. This is the top edge of this opening right here, being sure to backstitch. Now we're going to take our swivel clip, place it like that through the opening, and take this other raw edge and push it through the bottom of the opening as well. Just pull it through. Just like this. This is the way you want it to look. Okay. Just like that. Okay, so everything is like hidden in there. All right. So I could turn it around. I could see what I've got here. This is the sewn. This is what I pulled. You can see the little edge of the swivel clip there. Okay. Now we're going to head back to our sewing machine and we are going to top stitch the bottom edge. Here we are. You can see it's not going anywhere. It's lovely, but you can flip it over, lift up the webbing here, and you can stitch across here too, back stitching really well just for extra support. We've got our key ring all ready to go. Time to move on to our patch pocket. Now you can do your patch pocket however you wish. Let's decide what look we want. Do I want the macaws on the outside or do I want more of this on the outside? So you just have to decide because that will determine which side you leave open here. I think I want this on the outside. All right, so I'm going to place the outer, whatever I've decided is the outer, right side up and then place this right side down. Okay, so they are right sides together. All right, now this is the edge of your panel. I'm going to stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance around 3 sides, top, side, and bottom. All right, if you do top, side, and bottom, the opposite edge will be your front. So does that make sense? So if I want this side, if I want the outer, the vinyl to be the outer, then it has to be open on this side. If I want the macaws to be the outer, it has to be open on the other side because this will be right side up. So it'll have to be, does that make sense? It'll have to be open on this side. But I want the vinyl right side up. So we're going to keep that side open. 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1, 2, 3. All right, here we are. We'll trim our threads and then we will clip our corners like that. Okay, now we're going to turn this right side out. Okay, we're going to push our corners out. You may need a turning tool of some sort, something pokey, or your fingers. That's fine too. All right, so you can see if I put this on here, the raw edges are on the same spot. If I want the macaws up, I can't now. I'd have to undo it because now the raw edge is on this side. Does that make sense? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to top stitch the top. I'm going to come an 1/8 inch in and top stitch, and then an additional 1/4 inch and top stitch again. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to grab my pattern piece for my outer. I'm going to place it on top here. And then I'm going to place a clip or two. I'm going to place it at the top. Okay, and so here we know it's going to go right here. So I've got that where I want it. I'm going to clip it. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to head over to our sewing machine. We're going to top stitch down the side, across the bottom, and then up the raw edge to just kind of baste it all together. Here we go. And I put some rivets here for pretties and for stability. Super cute. Now we're going to move on to the zipper pocket. We're going to need our pattern piece again. 2 linings that do not have interfacing and 1 lining that does. Okay. So here's 1 lining with interfacing, and here are 2 linings without. This is what we're looking at. All right. So now what we're going to do is grab one of our linings that does not have interfacing, and we are going to place this on top, and we are going to trace this in. So here's how I do it. I poke a hole at the corners. All 4. Okay, so let's reline it up. Okay, and then you're just going to make dots in those corners, and then we'll draw the lines. Okay, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. This is this will be a 1/2 inch rectangle. So now I'm just going to connect the dots. Now let's grab our finished outer, the front, and then we're going to place this on top. Line up those raw edges, give it a clip here and there, just to make sure we're not moving around. Then we're going to head to our sewing machine, and just like our key ring, we're going to sew around that rectangle on the line. Okay, now we need to cut that out just like they did our key ring. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to match that. Just a little step. Stop about a 1/2 inch from the end, and then angle in towards those corners and out, going through the stitch line. All right, now we're going to, just like the key ring, we're going to push this through. I'm going to grab my pressing mat here. All right, so we're going to pull this through to the wrong side. Just like this. Just like this. Now, I'm using vinyl, so I'm going to be extra careful with my iron. But we want to press this all out here. And you can even clip the raw edges together so everything goes where it's supposed to. Just be careful of your vinyl. You do not want to melt it. We've all done it. Just, you don't want to do it. We'll do the end here. And then I'm probably going to clip here. All right, so let's grab some clips. This side seems okay, but we're just going to clip a few times here. Everything to be where it's supposed to be. Just lining up those raw edges again. Okay, let's turn to the front. Let's see how we look here. Oh, beautiful. Makes me so happy. Okay. Now we're going to grab one of our 10-inch zippers. Okay. And we're going to do what you've probably done a million other times. We're going to put wash away wonder tape. We're going to put double-sided tape on both long edges of the zipper. You can, alternatively, you can use pins for this, and that's what I used to do. But double-sided tape is a godsend. Okay, we're going to take the bottom paper off only. Take the top off in just a second. All right, so now we're going to take our opening. We want it to open or close at the top. So this is opening. So we want to close at the top. Okay, so it's closing that direction. So we're going to place the zipper tape in the middle of our opening. Let's press it down. The great thing is with the double-sided tape, you can adjust it instantly. Okay, I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to push my hole to the other side, and then I'm going to take the paper off of this side. I'm going to gently fold it back, and everything should be in its place, just maybe slight. All right. Press that down. You can also bring your iron and just lightly go over where the tape is. Kind of set it a little bit if you're worried about it coming up. All right, now we're going to head to our sewing machine, and we're going to top stitch around our rectangle. I get excited. I get excited every time I do one of these panels. So beautiful. Okay, so to make sure that we're closing at the top, opening towards the bottom. That's what we want. Okay, now let's turn our our main panel here to the wrong side. This is the inside of our pocket panel, or of our pocket. Okay, now we're going to take the other unlined pocket panel and we're going to place it right sides together with this lining. Okay, so you can see when you open it, if I turn this over, when you open it, you'll be able to see that the lining is pretty. It's not the wrong side. Okay, that's why there are so many layers here. Okay, so you place that like that, and then you take your interface lining and you put it wrong sides together with what's there. So we have right sides together and now wrong sides together. And we're going to clip those in a few spots, and then using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, we're going to baste all these layers together. Here we are. This is our front panel completely done. We open up our zipper, and what do we see? We see a beautiful pocket. We turn it over, and we see our lining. All right, let's set that to the side, and we're going to move on to the back main panel. If you are not putting a pocket in, you're going to skip this section, but we're going to do the same thing that we just did with this outer, or this front, we're going to do with the back. So we have outer lining that's interfaced and two linings that aren't. Let's do it. Okay, now it's time to add our slip pocket. Move to this to the side because we're going to need that. Let's grab our slip pocket pieces, which is right here. Okay, I'm going to place them right sides together, and then I'm going to sew using a 1/4 inch seam allowance across the top here. Okay, I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to finger press, or you can use an iron. I'm going to finger press the seam allowance open. I'm going to fold it wrong sides together. This is what I'm trying to prevent. So push that seam allowance down. You could always use an iron if you are not using vinyl. Otherwise, just push it down. It's okay if a little bit of that lining is peeking through. Not a huge deal. There we go. Now I'm going to top stitch across here. Now take your front or your back panel and turn it lining side up. I like to put it in the back panel because there's already so many things going on the front panel. And I'm going to line up the curves of the bottom just like this. And then I'm going to baste using a 1/4 inch seam allowance around here. And here we are. So we've got a nice big pocket there. All right, let's set that to the side. All right, let's grab our back panel. Okay, now we're ready to put this together. One of the things to be aware of is this is going to be touching your back. So if you're using, for example, I'll show you this one, okay? I have the outer on one side and a lining on the other. I want to make sure that the lining part or whatever part I want, so in this case, I had this lining, okay? This is the right side. Okay, the right side needs to be facing out. So that means I'm putting the wrong side of the zipper face down with the right side of the back. Does that make sense? So the wrong side to the right side of the back. So this is the right side of the zipper. This is the wrong side of the zipper. So it's going to go like this. And so when it comes out this way, this is laying against and this is laying against my back. Does that make sense? So wrong side of the zipper to the right side of your back. Now we find the center of our curve and the center top of our panel. Okay, here we go. So we're going to match those center clips, and then we're going to ease, with the help of those snips, we're going to ease that curve onto the other curve. Just move your fabric or your vinyl. And use as many clips as you want. The more clips you use, the more stable it's going to be. Here we go. Let's do the other side. Now, if you're using cotton canvas or something, this is going to be a lot more easily maneuvered. If you find your snips are not maybe they're too far apart, add some more snips. There we go. Okay, so this is what we have. So it will look like this when we're all done. Now I'm going to head to my sewing machine, and I'm going to carefully and slowly go around this curve with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to come back and do a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Here we go. Okay, here we are. Now, that initial 1/4 inch seam allowance is super helpful to give stability to you as you're sewing that 1/2 inch seam allowance. And that's just going to help at the end when we're putting it all together. It's going to look a lot better. See how beautiful that looks? I'm so happy. I love it. All right. Okay, it's time to move on to our main zipper and gusset. So I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to grab my gusset outer and lining, and my zipper panels, outer and lining, and my main zipper. Here we go. All right, first thing I'm going to do, we're going to work on our zipper panels. I'm going to trim those up if I need to be, if my SF101 is poking out. You could use double-sided tape on this part. I'm not going to. So we're going to have one lining right side up, our zipper right side up. Add some clips there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to add an outer right side down, lining up the all the raw edges. And then using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to sew these together. Pivot it. Okay, now we're going to push the lining and the outer away from the zipper. You'll press this if you're using cotton. I'm not, obviously, so I'm going to use a lot of clips to line up to kind of push it away. Once I've done that, I'm going to top stitch. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to top stitch there. Take my clips out. And there we have it. Now we're going to do that all over again with the other side. Lining right side up, zipper right side, or lining right side up, zipper wrong side down, but also the linings are right side together. You're going to match up those long or those short raw edges and the long raw edges and give it some clips all the way down. Okay, and now we're going to add our outer right side down, so it's the outers are right side together, matching up the short raw edges and the long. Using a 1/4 inch seam allowance or a zipper foot, I'm going to stitch this together. Okay, I went ahead and top stitch. Now, if you have some overlapping lining or the zipper is too long, now's a great time to get all that trimmed off. Okay, and that is our zipper panel there completed. All right, the next thing we're going to do is grab our gusset. The goal is for our gusset to fit perfectly, and it does. You can trim things up if you need to. It's no worries if it doesn't. So we have the right side of our zipper panel is facing up, and we're going to put right sides together. So that means the right side of our gusset is facing down, and we're going to line up those short edges. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to have to move. Your gusset is longer than your zipper panel, so you're going to have to pick up your gusset and move it. Okay, and center it. If your zipper panel is a little bit wider, just center your gusset on it. Not a big deal. Okay. Now, flip that over. We've got the lining side. We're going to do the same thing with the lining. We're going to place it right sides together. Now, using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, we're going to stitch along both sides. Okay, this is what it looks like. Now we're going to turn it right side out. So that's just flipping it right side out like this. Make sure everything's good to go. Lining up our edges just like this. Now that I've got this, I'm going to top stitch along this seam and along this seam, and then I'm going to baste all the layers together. This is the lining side. This is the outer. So if there's any trimming that needs to be done, now is the time. I highly suggest trimming it up if you need to. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to match these little side seams and find the center of our zipper panel on both sides and give that a clip or a snip, whatever you normally do, and match it up again. And now we're going to find the bottom, the center of the bottom. Okay, we're getting close. Set that to the side. Let's grab one of our outer panels. We'll start with the front, and we are going to find the center of the top and the bottom. Okay, we'll grab our other panel, and we're going to need to do the same thing. It's a little more difficult since we've got this on here, but that's all right. So we'll match that up. That's the bottom. And then we'll match. Sides up here. This gives us the top. All right. So I'm going to turn our gusset and zipper panel like this, all right? That way, when I'm working with it, I can go right sides together and I'm bending it like this. So I'm going to do the top. I'm going to do the bottom. Before I move further, I'm going to clip into these edges here so that as I'm moving the curves, just like with that strap tab, I can clear those curves with no bubbles or wrinkles. So about 1/4 of an inch every 1/4 of an inch. Okay? Just around the corners. Okay, we're going to do the up here as well. You could do this before you attach this if you want and just go all the way around. That's totally it. Okay. I'm going to start and do a few at the bottom on one side, the few at the bottom on the other side, and the few at the top, and then kind of bring it in together, and hopefully everything comes together perfectly. Use as many clips as you need. You do not get bonus points for not using clips. All right, now I'm going to move to the top. Do the other side. Let's keep going. Look at that. It's fitting perfectly. So, this side. All right, now I'm going to head to my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew it like this. Okay, this is going to go under my presser foot, so the flat side is on the table. All right, let's do it. Okay, so before we move on to the next step, I'm going to inspect my work. So, okay, so I'm going to turn it right side out. I just want to make sure there are no major bubbles. I don't have to have perfection. I just want it to look pretty good. So push those corners out. And I'm not going to lie, I'm very, very happy. Now I can turn it wrong side out again, and I can trim my seam allowance a little bit. It's just going to make it a little bit easier when I go to do the binding. We're going to open up our zipper a little bit. We're going to place our back. Just going to kind of roll up our strap here, and we're going to place it just like this, okay? Matching the top and bottom. Or before we do that, let's, it'll be easier if we clip the seam allowance. So we're looking for about 1/4 of an inch deep, every 1/4 of an inch around the actual curves. Okay, now let's roll up our strap, put it in there, and then we're going to match the bottom, and we're going to match the top. This one will be a little more challenging because you've got the strap tab there, but no big deal. Let's start from the bottom. Once we've done this, we are going to go to our sewing machine, and just like we did before, 1/2 inch seam allowance. We're going to take our time up here at the strap tab because that is pretty thick. Even if you're using cotton, it's going to be pretty thick, but don't worry, you can do it. Okay, here we go. And again, I'm going to put the flat part of the bag, and I'm going to mush what I've already so I'm going to mush it down, and then I'm going to go away. We're actually going to start at the bottom, giving me time before I get up at the strap tab. So I'm going to start here, swish that out of the way, and use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay. Well, somehow I poked myself and I'm bleeding, but if you don't bleed, are you really a bag maker? And then I hit my camera and change the settings, so I hope it looks okay. So anyway, we've got our front and back on here. Let's turn it right side out just to see how everything looks. So we know the front looks good. We're really just looking at the back. I'm going to make sure the back looks good. So you can see the bottom looks pretty great. Let's turn this direction. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we can see this looks pretty decent. I'm happy with that. So get it from this side. Push that out. Okay, I've got a little bit that I need to fix here. And I had a feeling that might be it. So I'm going to go back to my sewing machine and I'm going to bring in that seam allowance a little bit more there. Okay, all better. Now I just want to trim my seam allowance. Okay. Oh no, I forgot. Okay, I accidentally skipped a step. Oopsies. We have an extra part unaccounted for. So this is for the back. The back, this is the back. This is for the back. These need to go on the right side like this, and I forgot to put them in. So I'm going to grab my seam ripper, and I'm just going to take out some here, and then we can double check it against the pattern piece. So grab your pattern piece. And you'll give a little clip where the bottom of it's supposed to go. Same on both sides. So I've got my markings here. Okay. And then I'm going to slip these inside, just like this. Okay. And then I'm just going to clip the outer. And then we'll go back over it. Same with this. The D-ring goes to the inside. And I'm going to adjust the other side just a tad. I want to pull this out a little bit. Just like that. All right. Now I'm going to restitch that. Okay. We go to trim my threads. Maybe trim this just a little bit. I'm going to turn it right side out one more time so that I can double check my work. Very happy with it. I'm okay. That's what it should look like. You see? That's what it should look like. Much better. Perfect. Everything looks very good. We can test out our pockets. Our pockets are all good. All right, so we're going to turn it wrong side out again because now we have to work on our bindings. And there are 3 different ways you can do it. You could do it like the tutorial says, which is the traditional method, which is what I'll be doing. Or you could refer to the video and tutorial that I made about two other ways, fold over elastic and then another kind of fold over method with a strip of fabric cut on the bias. So I'm going to refer you to that to show you how to do those 3 ways, and then you could just watch me do this one. All right, here we are. We are all bound. This is the front, the side, the back, the other side, the top. I've got some threads that need to be snipped. You can very clearly see that my binding isn't perfect. And guess what? I don't care. No one's going to see it. It's just going to peek in, or peek out, I should say. It's pretty nice. Let's love it. So then what you'll do is, if you want to wear it crossbody, like a sling, you're going to attach it to one side, whichever side you like. Okay. And then you can wear it like this. If you want a backpack, then you'll just switch that, and then you'll unzip it, and then you've got a backpack. It's so stinking cute.